Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylists podcast. I'm Emma Morton-Turner and you're listening to episode 28, How Instagram Stalking Helped Tammy Gow set up online interiors brand Hunter & Co. So today's episode I think is a little bit of an indulgence for me. I really get a kick out of talking to entrepreneurs and people who've started things from scratch. I think it's probably something to do with starting Inside Stylists and hearing all about the stresses and problems that people have overcome. I find it massively inspiring. And when that person has built something that's interiors, it's like a double whammy, isn't it? Tammy is massively entrepreneurial. She's she's like a force. You can see she's going to be successful because she has got so much energy and so much passion for what she's doing. And the Hunter & Co website, which we're going to talk about in this episode, has the most beautiful things, lovely interiors accessories that I haven't really seen anywhere else, which is always very refreshing. So go have a look at Hunter & Co before you have a listen or at the end of listening, and you'll be able to see exactly the kind of things that we're talking about throughout the episode. And then go contact Tammy if you want to use any of her products in photo shoots or in features, because she's got some great photography and she's got lots of things for loan, which is always good to find new brands. Anyway, on to the episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Today's guest is someone who actually contacted me about being on the podcast, which is a first, so thank you, I'm very flattered. Tammy is from Hunter & Co, which is a website that sells the most beautiful interiors. And she dropped me a line and said, would I like to interview her? And I said yes. So thank you very much for allowing me into your beautiful home.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
No. And it's really funny because we were chatting for a little while and it turns out that you're like 15 minutes away from me. It's like probably the closest podcast I'm ever going to record. So you have a website called Hunter & Co. Mm-hmm. It's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, so it launched in February of this year.
Yeah, and we're recording this in 2018. So if you listen to this in 4 years' time, it's a massive store by now.
Yeah.
So because you're so new, people probably haven't heard of it. Do you want to describe the kind of interiors and things that you sell?
Yeah, so Hunter & Co, we are a homewares brand. So we're currently based online in the UK, and our collection is thoughtfully created and designed by myself. And the collection includes rugs, cushion covers, baskets, ceramic vases and jars, decorative items, wooden decor items, and art prints. So from lots of different independent artists around the world. Yeah, your art's beautiful, really beautiful. I was looking one of my favourites of the collection.
Yeah, it must be good fun finding all these things for your website. So what kind of style would you say? As I was reading your about page, and I got a really good vibe for it. Obviously I've seen it, but how would you describe it?
Well, the Hunter & Co style is very heavily influenced by American interior design. So I'm a really big fan of some great American interior designers. And in America, they have a million amazing homeware stores as well. So I'm very jealous of that. So heavily influenced by that, especially places like coastal California, the Hamptons, Nantucket. But I would also say the Hunter & Co style is humble elegance and laid-back glam. So it's quite an interesting concept because you're kind of like, how can you be laid back and also be glamorous at the same time? But you really can. So I think it's all about kind of having classic and classy, elegant interiors, but toning it down with kind of fun coastal colors, the blues and greens, and having lots of natural textures and natural wooden finishes to kind of give that relaxed coastal vibe. So I would say that Hunter & Co is humble elegance, laid back glam, and coastal modern.
Very good. Is that your
kind of?
Yeah. I was going to say we're sitting in your open plan home, which is big kitchen, diner, living room, and it's very glam. So your background isn't interiors though, is it? You've come from a very different background.
No, I came from a very boring background. So
I would say that.
I studied business management at university, and once I graduated, I joined a large accounting firm where I qualified as a chartered accountant. My life was very boring back then. And then joined a bank for 2 years, and then finally at a boutique financial services consulting firm, which is where I still am now, working 4 days a week.
Yeah. So you kind of balance the website with your day job.
Exactly. So now I'm working 4 days in my day job in the city, and then the rest of my life on Hunter and Co.
As you say, the
So
other 3 days,
every
but it's
evening,
evenings as well.
weekends,
Yeah.
Mondays, while I'm sleeping.
But your back, how you got Hunter and Co off the ground is very interesting. Just hearing how hard you obviously work. It was a bit of a brainchild while you were on maternity leave.
Yeah. So my brainchild was named after my real child, Hunter. So he was born in September 2016, and about 3 months into maternity leave, I kind of realized that I wanted to kind of change the life that I was creating for myself. I wanted a bit more flexibility around my family, and also doing something that I was more passionate about. So one of my best friends, Donnie, she has a little boy who is a month younger than Hunter, and his name is Ford. And we always said Hunter and Ford makes an amazing name. It would be a great brand name. So we're like, let's get into business together. Let's do something. And it was just a no-brainer that we would go into interiors, because we love interiors, especially the American interior designs. We spend so much money just buying from American homeware stores abroad, and then getting them shipped over here and paying like lots of, high custom duty.
Yes, huge.
So we decided to do this together, and she has a great eye for design, and I came from a business and finance background. So roll forward a few months, she broke up with me.
Oh, no.
So that's why we're now.
I was like, oh,
yeah, that's why we're not.
Part of it.
Yeah, so she decided, and rightly so, she decided that she wanted to focus on interior design only and kind of helping clients with their homes, which anyone in in the interiors business will know that is 20%. So if you have your own interior store, it's 20% design and creativity, and about 80% running the business and doing all the other stuff. So so I felt like I was dumb. I was scared about doing it alone.
Yes.
I was trying to offer friends with benefits, like, maybe I can do all the work, but you can still come and hang out and help me, and but actually, it was the best decision ever, because I had to decide whether I was going to do it by myself or just completely go back to my day job.
Yeah.
And I just decided, I'm too emotionally invested in this now. I love it so much. I've never felt so much like rush and passion for what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it a go. And by that point, I'd already booked my flights to go to China, to this big trade show, and really reached out to a whole bunch of artists.
So how old is Hunter? So Hunter's only like 5 or 6 months old while you're kind of at this stage.
Yeah, so he was born in September, and by April, I was in China gallivanting and
on your
meeting.
own?
Yeah, so I dumped Hunter in Singapore, where my parents were living at the time.
Oh, I bet they hated that.
Yeah. And then I went off for 3 days on my own, and just speaking to loads of factories and suppliers and manufacturers. So that was really good, and that was kind of the first step. And it was really good, because people have the stigma about things that are made in China, but I just thought, I'm going to go and have a look and see. And yes, I would say maybe 80% of what I could see in that trade show, and it was massive, was what you typically think of being made in China. And then there was the 20% that was just amazing. And I was just like, I know. So I have a lot of stores that I aspire to be like in America, and I'm like, these are very similar products. I can see that. I think a lot of things are just made from China now, right? But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So that's just one part of my collection.
So did you go out there with a list of, I want cushions, I want rugs, I want art, or did you kind of get a feel for the venue and see what they had? Was you led by that? Or?
I knew that I definitely was going to start with accessories, so not furniture, but ceramics was definitely one of the main things. So I was looking at all different kinds of vases and pottery and porcelain, really beautiful stuff, and baskets and stuff like that. But I knew that for rugs and cushions, I wanted to get them made in India by the artisans there, because I've just done a lot of research, and I know that that's where the best kind of quality and designers are. So that's like a whole different story, how I got rugs and cushions into my collection as well.
So you started in China, but you did go to India, didn't you?
I didn't eventually go to India, because I felt like I couldn't leave my child for a second time. But I did, so this is why I learned very early on that small businesses love helping other small businesses, and I really appreciated that. So, and also Instagram is just amazing. So I went on Instagram, and I just did a lot of stalking and found some really nice, like great small stores all around Europe, and I just contacted them, and selling similar types of products to what I would like. So really good, it looked like really good quality and really beautifully designed rugs and cushions, and I just said, hey, I'm just starting new as well. Can you tell me a little bit about India? How do you source the right suppliers? How do you know who to trust? What are the things to look out for? And I was really surprised by the number who came back and said, well, this is all we know. This is everything.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to help. And actually, one Dutch couple, they have a store called Vias Interiors, so they're based in Holland, and they said, we can see that you have like loads of followers on your Instagram. We've really struggled with kind of increasing our social media profile. So why don't we do an exchange? Why don't we have a Skype call? You tell us all about how you grew your following on Instagram, and we will tell you everything we know about sourcing products from India and from Morocco. So I was like, oh my God, amazing, great. Yeah. So it was a really nice exchange, and they gave me 3 contacts. I contacted the first one, and they said he might not be able to supply to you because he supplies to a really big name in the UK. I'm not going to say who it is, but I contacted them anyway, and I said, I know you probably can't supply to me, or you can't design for me because you're exclusively working with this person. And then he said, no, actually we can, but just not her designs. And I was like, that makes sense. And then so then I started speaking to him, and then I also met with another big rug wholesaler in the UK, and talking to him about whether he could supply, some stuff to me, or he has the contact so he can send my designs over to India. And then it turns out that he has the same supplier. So not the same supplier, but he has the same artisan as me. And I think he was a little bit annoyed because he was like, damn, I could have been, the middleman. So then it made me realize that this, contact that I got from this Dutch couple was just a really good contact, and he's been great. He helped me design my rugs and my cushions. So I sent him designs and inspiration. Sometimes I send him designs of wallpaper, and then kind of say, how can we kind of transform this into a pattern on your cushions? And he's been really good with that. Yeah.
So did you have to order a minimum amount then?
So in China I did. So that was a bit of a struggle. So some time. I think I have 2,000 ceramic vases that came over from China, but then from India is a lower minimum quantity, so you can order as little as 5, 10, 20, so that's good.
Yeah, because it's quite a lot of outlay before you've even got a website finished.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So this is something that I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I built the whole of my Inside Stylist website, and it all went wrong, majorly wrong, and I had to start all over again in about this time last year, actually. So I know firsthand what it's like trying to find someone to build a website for you. Yeah. It can be very difficult. Yeah. Just if you're listening, lovely Larry, I love you. But so how did you go about getting the web? Because obviously you've got to have the products to take shots of the products to get them onto the website. So when did you start finding a web developer?
So I knew very early on, so I had a lot of recommendation to use an e-commerce platform called Shopify. Oh yeah. So Shopify is really good. It has a lot of the back end stuff all sorted for you, but from the front end, unless you want to pay or get a developer, you have very standard templates, and obviously branding is really important. So if you have to pay a monthly subscription, but if you just use their templates, it doesn't, quite straightforward. You can tell straight away that it's a Shopify website, and it's not personalized to you or your branding. So I knew that I had to learn to code. So I tried to learn to code. I spent hours and hours. I think I spent 1 week learning how to code and change the font from black to white. Yeah. And it made me realize that it's just too difficult. I'm just spending too much of my time learning to code and try and do everything myself. And with every kind of first-time entrepreneur, you don't want to spend a penny. You just want to do everything yourself. But then I decided, no, I need to invest and do something. So I hired a freelancer, and he was a young kid out of uni, but really talented and really skilled and really quick turnaround. So he helped me kind of build my vision. Yeah, that's good. And how did you find him? Was it word of mouth? Yeah, so it was from word of mouth. Yeah. So Hunter was 3 months old when you kind of had the brainchild, and then you had the kind of breakup with your friends. So when did you get this guy to start building the website? How far along were you? Yeah, so in July, that's when we started building. Because, as I said, you have to pay Shopify for a monthly subscription. I didn't want to pay until I definitely. So my first step was finding products. Can I find products that represent the style and kind of what we're what we're trying to aim for, and then the other is now start to build it. So from July, but then that took month because you're constantly trying to evolve the website, and we did lots of like trial tests with my friends, and then there'll always be issues, and then you had to iron them all out. So
But it's just from experiencing building inside Stylists, it's a really long process, and things that you think will just work really well don't, and things that don't you think won't be a problem are a problem. And so how long did you have for maternity leave? Were you finished and ready to go before you were due to go back
I had
to
a
work?
year, so I was really hoping to launch by October of 2017, so that's last year. And as I said, we only started the website design in July, so I knew that timing was tight, and I also didn't want to spend loads of money in China and India, and I wasn't ready to launch yet. So I eventually had all of my products in the UK in December, and I already had to start work, so everything was, I had 3 months of balancing everything, and then I finally launched February of this year. So
so
about
very full on for
14 months from when I decided to do this to launching it. And obviously every day is still constantly evolving and improving.
Yeah. So where did you have everything sent over to? Because that's a phenomenal amount of accessories to be storing.
Where did I have?
Yeah, did you get storage somewhere?
So I did loads of research and realised I shouldn't put my products in just a storage company or get my own warehouse. Obviously that's really expensive, but there was loads of fulfillment companies, so that's like a really
that was
great
my next
thing.
question.
So I did loads of research, and I found a small fulfillment company. They only have about 15 accounts, which is really good, and it's only in Kent, so it means that it's about an hour's drive for me, so that's perfect. But I love that they only had 15 accounts, because I can literally speak to the manager every day and say, I want all my product to be packaged exactly like this, with this, tissue paper and these stickers, and just give my full instructions.
Yeah.
Whereas I was also speaking to some larger fulfillment companies, and I'm just a really small potato, compared to all their other accounts. They wouldn't give me the time of the day if I called them. So it's really good that I have that.
Yeah.
So I put all my stuff there, and they help me fulfill my orders for me.
That's brilliant. So things like artists and stuff, where did you source them?
Instagram again.
And from the UK, or?
So I purposely, and I guess tactically, tried to reach out to artists outside of the UK, because I thought that if I could kind of bring something different to them, I can be a sales channel for them in Europe and in the UK. So I reached out first to a bunch of artists in America and in Australia and New Zealand, and basically said, I love your work. Some of them weren't even selling print themselves. So after speaking to me and agreeing, okay, let's do print, they actually then hired their own photographers and spend the money to do that as well. So reached out to them, and they agreed. And it's good because they either sell their own art prints in America or they don't. But then they're not really in competition with me selling in the UK. They want, exactly. I do have 2 artists in the UK, and I really love them, and they're really, really amazing women. So it's been really nice to work with them. One of them was kind enough to make her prints that she sold through Hunter & Co. completely exclusive. So limited edition just for Hunter & Co. And she has the original in an art gallery up north as well. So
that's very special. Very good. Are you always looking for new people?
Yes, definitely. Always looking for new artists. But obviously looking for artists where kind of the colors and the tones and it kind of gives off a little bit of a coastal vibe, so it kind of matches to the Hunter & Co. style. Yeah. I'm really surprised they're all women. I haven't found any men yet, male artists.
That are artists? Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, that is on you. Well, I don't know. I think I could be completely wrong here, but I get the feeling there's more ladies on Instagram than men, so it might just be the ones you're finding just on Instagram. Yeah. I just can't be bothered with all that. So how would you describe your style? Your home's very serene. It's very calming.
So I must admit I'm not a huge fan of loads of different bold colours. I do like to have a more muted pastel palette, but I love kind of natural, wood and wicker and that sort of thing.
Do you want to have everything that you sell on the website in your home?
I wish I did, but my husband has his motto, and that's why actually if you look around, there's hardly anything in here that's from my store. His motto is don't get high on your own supply. So I'm like,
I love that.
I know. So as when I got my products, I was like, I love it. I'm going to put them all over our shelves.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, they're for sale. They're not for our house. Don't get high on your own supplies. I'm like,
Oh my
okay.
goodness, I don't know how you resist that. It's like, oh, but
Yeah.
that's
I've managed to sneak one kind of item of everything I own in my house, and for
Sucky.
product styling and
Yeah.
photography, but it's all in my storeroom.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of your website work? I'd imagine it's really hard work. I think
it is really hard
It's a bit like
work.
interior styling sounds really glamorous, but really you're laying carpet and carrying sofas upstairs.
Yeah.
Having an interiors website is probably a phenomenal amount of hard work.
Yeah, definitely. And also, when I first started, I wanted everyone to think I was much bigger than I am. I wanted people to think that I was this big corporation. And then, funny enough, I went to this internet retailing conference. I think it was in Birmingham. And on the panel, there was someone from Vodafone, from Witchet of Chelsea, and then Foot Asylum, and obviously they're big brands. And someone from the audience said, okay, you're giving us loads of like marketing tips and techniques, but I'm just a startup, do you have any advice for me, like what should I be doing? And they all said, be yourself, talk about yourself, don't try and be like us, because you don't have our budget and you don't have our history and our brand awareness to sell you, and talk about how you get your product, why you got to where you are today. And all of us big brands are actually trying to connect with our customers on a more personal level now by talking about the people behind these big brands. So I guess that's one thing I do like. And once I went to that conference, I was brave enough to put my face on Hunter & Co.
Yeah, I love that though. I was going to say
that. It was a big step. I was like, oh my God, people are good. And actually that's one of the most liked posts. So that's really nice. And so I think one of the things I like the most is being able to make Hunter & Co. me, and I appreciate that some people might love it and some people might not. I think that's the world of interiors, right? So,
but it does make you stand out against other interior websites where it is literally the product or models. Yeah. And it's like, actually, you do get a feel for who you are and what you're about. But the brand, I think you've got very strong branding as well.
Yeah.
And it is this very serene feel.
Yeah.
But I like it that you're in there. Yeah.
I am trying to build...
You're very photogenic. Oh. No one
My
ever
mum
thinks
says that too. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to build kind of a Hunter & Co. brand. So I want people to have Hunter & Co. items in their home. So there are lots of homeware brands that are kind of actually a collection of other people's brands.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, because obviously that's also created, but actually it's not their own branded products, it's other people. So I'm trying to be my own product, my own collection. Yeah,
it's very interesting. I interviewed a lady from Cocoon Home who is she's doing fabrics. Yeah. And when I first spoke to her, I was in a Facebook group with her and we were chatting through that, and I said, oh, you should come on the podcast. And I didn't realise that she was literally doing, as you are, designing but getting designers to, she was giving them a brief and they were designing it themselves. I thought she was finding people who were designing fabrics and then she was kind of collating them and selling them.
And kind of being a marketplace.
And actually, you're building your own brand, and it's a much bigger thing to do, but it's a much slower process.
Yeah, so definitely.
But it's like this whole, the creative side of it is it's brilliant. You have that control, and you can make sure that everything is on brand. It fits in with your vibe completely.
So as you say, it's good and bad. It's like, so there's that, and then the bad side is that you say it takes a lot longer because you need people to believe in that brand, and kind of some of my vases, because I source them from the manufacturers directly, I haven't seen them really in the UK. I think I know that they supply them to the US and Canada and stuff, but I like the fact that that's kind of like associated with just the Hunter & Co. brand.
Yeah. That's why they should be in your house. Do you have a favourite piece? Ooh, I always say that, and then I always think it's like choosing your favourite child.
I love all my vases. They're really heavy and chunky, so I really like that. But I would say my vase, which is a bestseller, but it's also my favourite, is called the Mandeville. So I don't have it on display now, but it's white and it's got some beautiful blue brushstroke hand painted on it, and I just love it because it kind of represents the whole kind of coastal modern style of
Yeah.
Hunter & Co. So check it out,
Yeah.
the Mandeville.
Do you shoot everything? Do you style everything? All the
Yeah,
shots?
I do.
Who do you
So-
get to shoot that for you?
Me. So
You-
everything is
Really?
me. So I style everything myself, but I do collaborate with and work together with my friend Donnie. So the one that dumped me. So she now is she has her own interior design studio called Donnie Wales Interiors, and she has a beautiful home.
Look
And
at that! You just gave your friend who dumped you a plug.
I know.
You're good. See,
I know, but it's
small
really good.
businesses
Yeah.
helping each other.
Yeah, but it's really good. We're each other's sounding
I was
boards.
gonna say, does she buy from you for her clients?
Yeah, she does.
Must
She
do.
does, but
Because you're
obviously-
on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's really good, and she has a beautiful home as well, like really beautiful, and she just lives down the road from me. So I style everything either in my house or hers, and I've converted one of the rooms in my house to a studio. So we've put box molding on the walls, and we've painted one wall white and one like a dark blue.
fantastic.
So and then
So you created your own studio.
yeah, and I
Brilliant.
already have a really good camera. So I just take the photos myself, and obviously a lot of YouTubing to learn how to take these photos.
Wow, they're very good.
Yeah,
I thought it was
and then
professional, so
and
very
then
good.
using Photoshop to edit. So yeah, my background. I'm not a creative, but I've had to learn to do all this.
You kind of are creative. My sister's an accountant, and she's always like, just because you're a stylist doesn't mean you're the only creative in the family. And she's very creative as well. So I think it's that whole, when you're a number cruncher and you do quite a lot of desk-bound stuff, you need a creative outlet.
Yeah,
so I think everyone
exactly.
has it in them. I'm amazed you do your own shoot. That's really impressive. So let's talk about how stylists and writers can kind of contact you and get in touch with you. I'm actually, I should share your Instagram. It's Hunter & Co. That's and spelled out. So hunterandco.store, and the website is hunterandcostore.com. So if anyone wants to go and check it out and have a little look. But we were talking before we started recording about how stylists and writers can get involved and use Hunter & Co. in shoots and features. So you're quite happy for people to contact
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. I would love that.
I think you've got a really, there's some quite unusual things in there, and what we were talking about earlier about the whole American vibe over here and not having to pay those massive import taxes. I have to tell you a story. In fact, my daughter will kill me for saying this, but my daughters, they're 12 and 14, they're very into YouTube, and they are massive followers of YouTubers and want their merch. It's all about the merch. So one of them, I'm not going to say which one, they're both into it, but one of them will buy, YouTubers quite often do like charity t-shirts and charity pyjama bottoms, and they'll buy them, but they'll be like 30 quid to buy, and then there'll be 15 quid import tax.
Yeah.
So I completely get that whole getting that American vibe without that massive import
exactly.
tax. So pyjama bottoms for like 45 quid.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm quite happy. They pay for it themselves. They work for their pocket money and they pay for it themselves, so it's up to them. But that whole kind of the vibe you have, that American feel, and your products are completely unique, obviously, because you're controlling the design of them and creating the design of them. So how can people get in touch with you? Are you quite happy to loan products?
Yeah,
for shoots?
definitely. Yeah, learning products. Yeah.
Yeah, I think your products are
I'm happy
really
to
well.
to get in touch with, for anyone to get in touch with me in all kinds of ways.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to, Tammy's images are high res, and I really can't believe that you didn't have a photographer on them, because one of the questions I've got here is, who shot your photography? Me. So if anyone wants to drop Tammy a line, it's tammy.gow, and that's GOW, at hunterandcostore.com. Drop Tammy a line and she'll be able to send you images or products
definitely.
for shoots and things. Yeah, so that's really good. So what's next for Hunter & Co then?
I think I will open my first brick and mortar store.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope to one day have more than one, but I think the first one, I'm really looking forward to that. I think that hopefully it'll be in the next year or so.
And where do you want that to be?
I live very near a village called Blackheath.
Yes.
I think it's like
oh my
beautiful
god,
there.
you'd be perfect for
I
Blackheath.
know,
Yes.
exactly. So I'm eyeing up a few real estate there. So there've been a few shops that have closed down recently. So,
Oh.
but I need to look into that. I need to
Yeah.
understand why they're closing down. But they did open a Oliver Bonus a few months ago.
Oh, well,
and I was like, damn.
it.
But, yeah.
Oh, no, that's good. Having them on the boat.
Well, yeah, it's good, but then,
yeah.
but then they'll all go there and not to Hunter & Co. But I'm hoping that we'll start with Blackheath.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, when you have your launch party, if you just drop me a line,
yeah,
I'll be
of course.
Because it's just up the road.
Yeah.
Well, Tammy, thank you so much for inviting me into your home and being on the podcast. It's been
thank
brilliant.
you for coming.
You're very entrepreneurial. It's very inspiring. I love talking to entrepreneurs who kind of do things with their time and don't just, it's just brilliant. The whole doing it from maternity leave is very inspiring. Proper, I'd say like kitchen table entrepreneur, but we're sitting at your kitchen table and you wouldn't call this a kitchen table at all. It's quite stunning. But thank you very much. It's been brilliant to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Inside Stylist podcast. You'll find all the links from today's episode over on the show notes at insidestylist.com/hunter. Today's episode was a little different, but I'm hoping you enjoyed it. If you want to hear more episodes like this, then please let me know. And if there's anyone you'd love me to interview, drop me a line and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, bye for now.